Hey guys, how you all doing? Brickreations here, and today marks a pretty special day as it is the first day of building Takodana. Now I'm really excited. This is going to be an absolutely amazing journey that should lead us up until Christmas when the new movie comes out, and we'll see what they have in store for us then. But of course, Takodana is what's going to happen now, and this is the table that's going to be built on, in case you don't know already. It's 6x6 normal base plates, and it should be pretty epic to build. Now, a little bit of a refresher if you can't really remember what Takodana is. It is the scene in The Force Awakens where we first see the First Order and Resistance fight in a pretty epic battle. And it's set on the planet, of course, of Takodana, which is a pretty diverse scenery where you see Maz Kanata's castle, which is, well, of course, a castle, but it's huge, and it's set upon a really beautiful lake, and there's forests to the right of it, and of course we will see the Millennium Falcon. And there are a lot of iconic moments that happen in this MOC, so it's going to be very exciting to build. But of course, I don't want to ramble on for too long. Let's get into the plan so you see what I have in store for you. Okay, so this is the plan that I decided to go with, and I probably went through about 4 to 5 versions before settling on this one. But if I go through in a little bit more detail, of course, Maz Kanata's castle, which is this outline or building shape right here, is going to be what I would consider the centerpiece of this MOC. It's going to be quite tall and hopefully quite impressive. But here, this little bit that sticks out is going to be the entrance into the castle, if you would like. And in the movie, you see a lot of flags around here. And this little shaded area is where she has her statue. This is the main big building. And then right here and right here are 2 large towers. And I didn't draw exactly, but I just wanted to give the idea of how the building looked like. Now, a big problem with this is going to be designing because of the angles. You can see it's not exactly angular in a way. There's lots of different, it goes this way and then more of like a 30-degree angle that way and then a little bit that way, so it might be a little bit difficult to shape around, but hopefully we'll get that sorted out. This whole shaded area over here, you can see, is all going to be water, and then over here there's going to be a little stream. And I might cut in right here and say that the main inspiration for designing this, of course, firstly came from the movie, but then I also took a lot of reference from the Battlefront 2 game, because obviously when you're in character and in world, there are a lot of different areas that you can see in much more detail than they showed in the movie. But of course it is surrounded around the movie scene, so right here I'm going to have most likely 2 X-Wings, probably not 3, but this is going to be the scene where you see all the X-Wings flying across the water in a very elegant style, and I think that will look really cool. And of course the river over there that I just mentioned. Over here, all along here is going to be a shore bed, little bit of a beach, but not too much. It's not really a Scarif type MOC, it's mostly forest and dense. Over here, the very iconic scene where the Millennium Falcon lands, and I try to get it as much to scale as I could. I think it takes up roughly around 4 base plates. Now also, the Millennium Falcon that I'm planning on getting, is I'm going to buy the one that comes out this, or actually it comes out next month, I believe, for the Rise of Skywalker. I think that Millennium Falcon just looks so much better than the other ones. And why would I buy a used, 4-year-old Millennium Falcon if I can buy the new one? And I was going to anyway. So that's the Millennium Falcon is going to be the 2019 version right here. And this kind of patch around here, bunch of paths and everything leading around, that's like a landing pad. And the path leads, of course, into the entrance of the castle. And then over here is going to be mostly all forest. So a lot of Takodana is a very dense forest. And in the Battlefront 2 game, a lot of the fighting goes on in here between the Resistance and the First Order. So all of these little shapes here are trees. And all of these are little paths that run in and about all the rocks and foliage and all that. This section right here is a little clearing that I saw in the Battlefront 2 game. I thought it would be really cool to include because it's some sort of a depot in a way. It's where they store a bunch of crates and ammunition and supplies, and it just looked really cool, so I thought I would include it because it would be something a little bit different than just doing plain forest. Now up here is going to be a very important moment from both the movie and Battlefront. Now of course the movie didn't show it, but Battlefront 2 did. You do see in the movie the First Order arrives on Takodana, but you never see where they land, so that is actually where they land. In the top corner, it's a little bit of a hilltop fort base type thing. and the first order transporter, I'll put a picture on screen, lands right here, and all the troops run out down these paths, and there will be a lot of fighting going on here. This will be built a little bit up on a hill, and it will kind of look similar to this with all the crates and big metal construction pieces lying about. Okay, so hopefully now that you've seen the plans, you have a good idea of basically what the layout for Takodana is going to look like. But I think right now we're going to jump into a time lapse, and I'm going to do some rough marking of where everything goes. So I'm going to pretty much outline the water, roughly where the castle goes, probably where the Millennium Falcon is. And also I'm going to have to switch out some of the base plates over here of the green ones and swap in some blue. So let's jump into that. So I just stopped the time lapse for a quick second to show you guys basically what the layout is looking like now that I changed out the water, and I think it really has transformed. The water is much bigger than I thought it would be, even though I didn't know how many base plates I was taking up. It has engulfed pretty much about a third of the MOC, which I think is going to be really good, especially when we're going to have the X-Wings flying over. Now that little bit of green that you can see sticking out right over there, not all of it, it's going to also cut into the water, basically where my hand is, and go around there. But that's basically where the castle is going to go, and of course it's in the water, so it's sticking out a little bit from the land. And the Millennium Falcon will go roughly about right here. But that's all I wanted to say, continuing with the time lapse. Alright guys, so I just spent about 10 minutes very basically translating what was on my plan onto the actual MOC itself. And hopefully it gives you guys a little bit of a better idea of sense of scale and where everything's going. I guess I'll start down here in this first corner. Now like I said, this is where the Millennium Falcon's going. And if I just grab my plan here for a second, I'll put it right here next to you. So this plan that you can see right here where the Millennium Falcon is, in this little patch right here, and of course I'll always be putting pictures so you guys get a idea of where this was in the movie and stuff like that. But here, this patch right here is supposed to be what that drawing was just depicting. Now it's going to be much more curved and neater, but there's just an idea. Now there's going to be a path that runs off to the side over here, and then another path that goes this way up to the main castle. But for the most part, it's going to be roughly in this area. And this is what the shoreline looks like. As you can see, it stretches all the way to the other end of the base plate. Starts down here and it sticks out a little bit, little peninsula I think it's called. I think it just adds a little bit more detail than just cutting it off over here. And a few things sticking out here and there, but for the most part it's going to come in and then it's going to curve over here. And then that area over there, where those base plates are, and of course where that blue area, all where my hand is right here, is going to be where the castle is. So of course I haven't really defined properly where the outline is going to go because honestly I'm not really sure. And if I just move over here, you guys can see the river. Now I'm not exactly 100% on board with this idea. I mean, I would like to include the river, but that's not really looking that great to me at the moment. I'm not sure if I want it, but when the time comes I will make that decision. Now back over there to the other side of the MOC, you guys can see this little base place up here, whatever you want to call it, where the first order transporter lands, is up here. Now I put these to signify that it's up on a hill, and there's going to be two paths, one that runs down here and one that runs there. And I didn't draw them out, but there's going to be lots of little paths running in and about in this area. And then this part over here is going to be that little depot place I was talking about, where there's all the crates and supplies and stuff. Alright guys, so there is week 1 of building Takodana and Lego, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know there was a lot to cover, but most importantly, I hope you like this plan in front of me. Now, if you have any suggestions or ideas on things to change, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions on the matter. But in front of me, of course, is the mock in its very basic stage. It's just a very rough representation of this. But of course, in terms of what's to come for the upcoming weeks, just today, I placed my very first Bricklink orders for this mock. I've been kind of compiling them over the last week, and they should give me a very, very good start to the building progress. Now, I doubt those pieces will be able to come in before week 2, especially since I'll be needing them more around midweek to give me enough time to actually use the pieces in some building. But they will come in within the next week, and I will hopefully implement them in time for week 3. So there you go guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and going down ahead and hitting that like button. It will really help me out a lot. But with that guys, thank you again and see you in week 2. Goodbye.